So summer's around the corner and I'm craving the fresher fragrances. I've got 25 fragrances here we're going to discuss that are perfect for spring and summer. Coming right up. Hi guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Looking, Feeling, Smelling Great. That's right, I've got 25 fragrances here that I've acquired in the last year or two. Some are more recent, like the last couple of months, but dating back to a few years. And most of these fragrances are more recent releases, but some of the ones that I've acquired here have come out from several years ago. There are a few classics in here, but the majority of these scents are from the last year or two, so they've been launched in the last 2 years. But we do have, like I said, a few that were older releases. I'm just going to discuss these fragrances. It's not a top list. There's no order in specific, but I'm going to pull out fragrances that might get grouped together perhaps as a brand that I have here that has more than one fragrance, I'll group them together, or there's a style of fragrance that I'll group together, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the first grouping, and this grouping is called Brazil versus cocktails. So what we've got here for the first one is Outrageous by Frédéric Malle. Now, what it is about this fragrance that I fell in love with, and this is actually a re-release. It was launched in 2007, and then it was also re-released just a few months ago for 2017. Rebranding, repackaging, and I think it's been reformulated. The nose behind us is Sophia Grossman. I think that's her name. But this is an eau de toilette, one of the only eau de toilettes in the collection of Frédéric Malle fragrances, and it retails for $150. And like I said, what I liked about this one is that it's inspired by a Brazilian caipirinha cocktail. So it's very fun. It's like one of those fun fragrances that you want to put on and wait for the dry down, because this dries down to a really, really gorgeous dry down. It's playful, it's sunny, it's vibrant, but still has that sugariness and soft coziness at the same time. So it's very, very inspired by Brazil, where you've got all that fun, beachy atmosphere there. Plus, you know, people don't overdo it. They're very like laid back kind of a thing. So that's captured perfectly in this fragrance, and I really like that about it. And if you like slightly sweet fragrances, but you know, boozy somewhat, and with you know, spices and things like that, definitely try Outrageous, as I think it's a great one. The next Brazil-inspired fragrance is called SELVA do Brazil. This one right here by a house called BERDOUES. This one's around $100 for 100 ml. And this one is one of the most freshest fragrances that I've ever put my nose on. And it utilizes the dominant note of petitgrain, which is the green leaves off of orange trees. So it's a little bitter, but very refreshing, and this sprays on very fresh, and I absolutely love this one. I interviewed Pauline from this house, BERDOUES, Maison BERDOUES. I don't know if you saw that video or not. I'll have a link in the info box, but great house, brand new collection. Although the house has been around for 100 years, this particular fragrance is part of a collection that was recently launched from the last 3 or so years. But if you like a fresh green fragrance, this one's an awesome one. Do check it out, SELVA do Brazil, and that's an awesome one. And then the last Brazilian sort of islandy inspired fragrance is called You or Someone Like You by ATELIER de Orange. Now the unique thing about this is I think it's inspired by a mojito, so it's Cuban inspired. And if you like a minty fragrance, this is it right here. But here's the unique concept behind this fragrance. They're not releasing the notes for this fragrance, so it's a secret kind of, I guess, but you can pick up mint. And I've also heard fresh cut or mowed lawn or grass, and then there's also rose in it apparently. But to me, it's not as boozy, so the rum note, or there's no rum note. I'm not picking up any rum note, so it doesn't come off boozy. It is minty, but it is a dry mint. It's a very fresh, slightly herbal, fresh mint, and just a really, really refreshing fragrance for summer. I think it's perfect for summer. So if you don't know this brand, do check it out. And this fragrance is an ultra, ultra freshy, with that dry herbal mint note in it. It's just lovely. So You Are Someone Like You by Atelier d'Orange. We're gonna go next to a very luxury house, Louis Vuitton. And this one I've spoken about many times, and it's one of my favorite fragrances from that Louis Vuitton launch of last year. It's called Apogée, and this is magnolia, white flowers, but the magnolia is pretty big here, and I love the way magnolias smell, and oh my god, I just love this scent. And the cool thing about this one is it lasts. It really does last. So if you want a freshie that lasts, do check out Apogée. It is a slight bit feminine, but not overly feminine. It is white flowers, but that magnolia note kind of tones down the femininity, and there's also sandalwood in the base, so it kind of also kind of tones it down a bit. So Apogée by Louis Vuitton, an awesome freshie for spring and summer. Next, we're going to go to the house of Jacques FATH, and they launched 4 fragrances last year. They have 4 more coming out this year. You've probably seen the videos I've done with the Cécile Zarokian and Luca Maffei. But these 2 that I'm going to talk about are from last year for the first initial releases. And the one that I'm going to talk about first is called Green Water. Green Water is a classic that I've known about from my dad for a long time, I guess since I was born and when I was checking out his fragrances. It's a classic fragrance, and it's a very nice freshy fragrance with herbal notes and citruses, and with some slight woody and muskiness in the base. A perfect freshie for summer, I think, and very classic, very classic smelling. So if you don't know Green Water, you should definitely check it out. And these bottles do come in a 50 ml like this, which this is a 200 ml and this is a 50 ml, and which leads me to the second one from Jacques FATH. And this one I reviewed for Jacques FATH. It's called Vers le Sud. It is a fig and marine fragrance. The fig is a leaf, so it's slightly herbal, leafy, a fig note, and it has that marine breeze note in there. So it's not overly aquatic, but you can kind of pick it up. But really a lovely scent. I quite enjoy this one, and one of my favorite fig scents as of late. Vers le Sud, both by Jacques FATH, Green Water and Vers le Sud. Next we're going to go to a slightly rosy category, and the fragrance I'm going to discuss next is Grace by Grace Coddington for Comme des Garçons. So Comme des Garçons as a brand is a clothing designer, of course, and they did this with Grace Coddington. It's a collaboration. It's sort of a celebrity fragrance. But this one is with Grace Coddington. It's one of the freshest rose scents that I've put my nose on. It's a green rose. It's also kind of slightly herbal, but very fresh. So it has like a grassy herbal kind of notes in there. Comes off very green, and the rose kind of is dewy, a little wet, which I really love for summertime, because sometimes rose can get heavy and this is not it. So Grace, it is for women, but I think when you smell it, you'll go, okay, this is definitely unisex, because it just smells very fresh. So Grace by Comme des Garçons is one. And this one I actually reviewed. It's by Sisley, a house from France, and this is IZIA. Again, kind of a similar category. It's a fresh rose with, this one has a fruity musky vibe. It is very feminine bottle, but again, when you put your nose on it, you're gonna go, okay, this is definitely slightly unisex, but it is a little on the feminine side, so you might be turned off. But I quite like this one, and it is very fresh and easy to wear during the warmer days. So IZIA by Sisley. Next up, we're going to go to the house of Hermes, and we've got 2 here from the collection. My favorite being the Eau de Rhubarbe ECARLATE right here. It's in this red bottle, and there's also the Eau de Neroli Doré is what it's called. It's these 2. So both of these are Eau de Colognes, so they're going to be lighter, and you're going to need to replenish throughout the day, because they're not going to last as long as an Eau de Toilette. But for some reason, I do get pretty good longevity with these, about 4.5–5 hours. So, and I really love the rhubarb one. Even though I love neroli fragrances, I think when they launched both of these together, the more stronger one was the rhubarb, and it's sort of fruity, sort of spicy, and you know, musky, dry down, but such a great scent to wear for summertime, hot days, because eau de colognes are going to be much, much better for warmer days, of course. And then, of course, we've got the Eau de Neroli Doré by Hermes. Now, this one is a neroli, but it has this like a Hermes DNA undertone, kind of like you pick it up, and then it's got the neroli. So the neroli doesn't come off very floral. It to me, kind of comes off like petitgrain a little bit. Has a very green quality, but it doesn't also, it's not airy. It kind of comes off a little on the thick side. So I like it. It's not as strong as the Eau de Rhubarbe Écarlate, but this one is pleasant, and you might test them out and go, okay, this one's better for me versus the rhubarbe one. But they're both really good, except I'm kind of leaning towards the rhubarbe one a little more. So those are both by Hermes. Another one that I'm really enjoying lately is one inspired by California, and this is all about clementines, and it's Clementine California by Atelier Cologne. They initially launched this for Sephora stores in Canada, and finally it's available in Neiman Marcus. I think you can buy it at Sephora maybe as well. I'm not really sure. This is where I picked it up from, is from Neiman Marcus. And what I love about this one is how fresh it is. It is a truly wonderful, sparkling clementine, which is kind of like you know, mandarin oranges or tangerines, I guess. So it's really, really lovely, and I just love the way it smells. And it's perfect for the heat in the summertime, because I like this fragrance more for summertime, but warmer spring days as well. So that's also a really good one. And the price for this is about $200 for a 200 ml bottle like this, and it comes with a 30 ml, and which is an extra little 30 ml carry-along bottle, which is also a great deal. Next up, we're going to go to two fragrances that are more unique in the way that they're created. They're basically created from synthetic molecules. And I'm speaking about one of them that I just recently reviewed called Eccentric 4. And it's utilizing Javanol, a new sandalwood molecule with fruity notes. So the reason I like Eccentric 4 by Eccentric Molecules is the fact that it has a very fruity, unique scent. And I absolutely really love it, especially when it's warm out. It smells great, great, great. This was launched with Molecule 4, which utilizes only the Javanol molecule, but that one, I'm having issues with performance on that one. I'm hardly picking up the scent itself, but I do get little whiffs of sandalwood. But for me, it's all about Eccentric 4. Really, really great release. If you like a freshy, slightly fruity, I think this is perfect for spring and summertime. Check out Eccentric 4. And the next one is from a house called ETHER out of France. ETHER has a fragrance here called Citrus Ester, this right here. Now, this is all made with synthetic molecules, but when you smell this, it is a lovely, lovely citrus, and I just love the way it sprays and smells like a very tart citron, but also sort of like aromatics kind of come into play. So it has this like slight bit of herbal aromatics, and then the fragrance develops into this very unique citrus, very soft and, you know, cozy kind of a citrus. Just really lovely scent. So I hope ETHER makes their debut here in the States, because they have like 4 or 6 different creations in their collection, and this one is really one of the better ones that I sampled in Paris and smelled. So Citrus Ester by ETHER is another one that's similar to the Eccentric Molecules collection. Next up, we're going to do Jo Malone, and Jo Malone has basil and neroli. And what I like about this one is it's basil, it's herbal, so it's greenish, and it is also neroli. And neroli is one of my favorite flowers. And so I've done a video called Orange Blossom, Neroli, and Petitgrain video you should definitely check out, which I've included this on. But I like this one. It's another eau de cologne, so you can overspray. You won't overwhelm people around you. It just smells very pleasant. This one has a little bit of a soapy quality too, but really, really a pleasant scent. So Basil and Neroli by Jo Malone. Next up, we're going to the house of Le Jardin Retrouvé, and this is Citron Boboli, which I've done an interview with the owner of Le Jardin Retrouvé, And I also did like an unpackaging video for Citron BOBOLI. And what I like about this one, it's citrus, but it has a woody, spicy note in there as well. It utilizes a pretty dominant note of cloves. So you've got the cloves in there, and then of course lots of citruses and woody notes. So it's really has a little more of legs when it comes to wearing like freshies in the summertime, because that spicy woody notes kind of makes it perform a little better than traditional citruses. So do check out Les Jardins Retrouvé. The next one, one that I didn't like at first but really fell in love with afterwards. It's from the Turkish brand NISHANE Istanbul, and this is Ambra Calabria, kind of like abracadabra, but it's a play on that word, Ambra Calabria. So it's an amber, of course. So out of all of these that I'm talking about, this is probably going to be the most potent one. It's an amber, but a very fresh, citrusy amber, and I think it's inspired by the Calabrian lemon in Italy, Calabria. But wow, just really lovely. It also has a little bit of a salty sea note, because I think Calabria is on the water. I'm not really sure about that part, but it kind of comes off slight bit aquatic to me, very lightly. I really love this scent. It is so wonderful. More freshy than their normal offerings, which can be intense. So Ambra Calabria, a new one that I really love, by NISHANE Istanbul. Got three from one house here that I hardly ever speak about, and we're going to be talking about them a little more. And the house is called I Profumi di Firenze. It's an Italian brand. And the fragrances I picked up from Italy are called Agrumo di Sicilia, Arancia di Sicilia, and Acqua di Firenze. So this is basically Florence, water from Florence. So Arancio, I think, is an orange from Sicily, and Agrumi, I think, has to do something with citrus. But oh, I love the citrus. It's just this to me kind of reminds me of like Aqua Viva by Profumum Roma, but at a fraction of the cost. It's a 50 ml, and these retail for 110 in the States here. And a lovely citrus, really lemony citron, but probably there's bergamot in there, maybe some oranges. The Acqua di Firenze is a little different. It's like floral perhaps, but still citruses, and it makes it a little more easier to wear if you're not into like the sharper citrus tart citruses. So that one's really nice. But then we've got Arancio de Sicilia. This one's all about blood oranges from Sicily. So it's very orangey. If you like oranges, you're gonna like this one. So really lovely scent. So that's from a brand called I Profumi di Firenze. Now this is probably the only oldest one that I have in this collection, but it's a brand new pickup, and I've used a lot of it. It's a Neroli, and this is Fleurs de Orangère by Houbigant. And if you don't know Houbigant is the same company that released Fougère Royale. So this is one of their slightly feminine leaning fragrances, and it's all about very floral, very floral orange blossom and neroli. That's why it's called Fleurs d'Orangère. So I really love wearing this one in the heat. And that's what I like about a lot of these fragrances. They work really well in the heat, and you can overspray them and not overwhelm people around you. And that's what I like about citruses. The citruses are awesome. And not all of these are citruses. Majority of them are, but this one is definitely one of those really beautiful, slight bit feminine leaning orange blossom and neroli fragrances. So that's Fleurs d'Orangère by Houbigant. Another one that I've recently acquired is called Bergamot by Commodity. And what I like about this one, it's bergamot, but you're not get tartness. So if you don't like the tart, sharp fragrances, the citruses, this is it's almost like it's a cozy, comforting citrus, but it's bergamot. And bergamot is usually used in a lot of fragrances, basically the top note usually. So, but this is the major player here. This is basically all about bergamot. So you're gonna get like a very juicy, but not too tart bergamot. Sprays really nicely. It comes off really fresh. Really a lovely scent for summer. I think it's more for summer than spring, but overspray this stuff and you'd smell great. So Commodity Bergamot. This one I've done a review a year or so ago. It's Eau de Sens by Diptyque. And this one is orange blossom and jasmine. And the performance is really out of this world for an eau de toilette. And this one, you know, really smells excellent. I just love wearing it. And since I love the way it smells, I also love the way that this performs. 6 hours, 6.5 hours sometimes. And for an eau de toilette, that's really nice. And you smell wonderful. The flowers of the orange tree, just amazing stuff. So Eau de Scents by Diptyque. Another one that's a few years old, probably about 3 to 4 years old, is Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal Cologne. This one right here, it's a brand new purchase for me. And I wanted to get it because I really like this line, even though the sport edition that just came out is not my favorite. But this one actually is really fresh with the tonka bean, but it has a lemony freshness. It almost kind of reminds me of Dior Homme Cologne as well. So given the fact that it's from the same parent company, LVMH, who makes these fragrances for Dior and Guerlain, so I can understand there might be some similarities with the notes. There's slight differences, of course, so they're not exactly identical. I think this one's a little more tonka compared to the lemon in the Dior Homme Cologne, but they kind of remind me of the same soft cologne version of, or a cologne flanker. But this is perfect for summer. Even though it's cologne, it's not going to last as long, but I really like it, and it's perfect for warm days. So that's L'Homme Idéal Cologne. Another one that I really enjoy for the summertime is one that came out last summer, and it's Petit Matin by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And this is part of a duo of fragrances. The morning edition is called Petit Matin, and Grand Soir is for the evening edition. It's a lot darker. It's an amber, but very clean. Both of these scents are very clean. The laundry fresh is what I get with this, but citrusy, clean, musk, some woody notes. But perfect, long-lasting for a summer freshie as well. This is Eau de Parfum concentration. This one is actually Eau de Cologne. That's why it's called Cologne. And funny thing is, Maison Francis Kurkdjian is now joining the LVMH family. They were recently acquired or were sold to LVMH, who also owns Guerlain and Dior and a bunch of other companies under the big conglomerate Louis Vuitton, Moet and Hennessy, who also owns Sephora. So I'm thinking that these Maison Francis Kurkdjian fragrances should end up at Sephora any day now. Well, probably not that quick, but since they favor their own brands, these will end up being sold at Sephora. So this is a great freshie. I really do love it. I hope the formulas don't change for the fragrances as well now that they're going to be under LVMH. But as a brand, I really enjoy Maison Francis Kurkdjian's fragrances. So Petit Matin is a great one for summer. And I wanted to leave this last one to the list because it's not really necessary. Well, I guess I am wearing it more in the heat because I love the way it smells. This is Crypto Mint by Mugler. So what I like about this one is the fact that it's mint. It's very fresh at the top, and it dries down to that Mugler DNA. So it's kind of an oddball in the mix here. It is mint. I did have the You or Someone Like You is also a mint, but that one's a lot fresher. This one probably you wouldn't spray as much as you would spray You or Someone Like You. But this one, lovely scent. I think it's a really solid offering from Mugler, from the house of Mugler. And it is similar to Ultra Zest, but this is a unique because it's all about mint. So if you haven't checked it out, check them out. Check out all of these fragrances. They're perfect for spring and summer. Now I wanted to also mention that I didn't announce this at the beginning of the video, but I'm offering a 5 ml decant to one subscriber of Looking, Feeling, Smelling Great of one of these fragrances that I discussed here in this video. So you get to have a chance at winning a 5 ml decant of any of the fragrances we discussed in this video that are perfect for summer. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed here and put a comment down as to why you want to win. Put down your state, and also please put down which fragrance sounds the best to you. So if you are drawn, that's the fragrance you're going to get. Cannot change your mind afterwards. Figure out exactly which one you want before putting it down, and then put it down so that once we draw you your name, you'll end up getting a message from me to send me your contact information, such as address, phone number, email address, all that good stuff, so that I can arrange to have this shipped to you anywhere in the USA. Guys, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about these releases? What are you going to be wearing this spring and summer season? Do you like citruses? Do you like fresh fragrances? I think a lot of these are going to be perfect. Some are around the $100 mark, so you should definitely test them out. I'll have links to the fragrances in the info box. You can pick up bottles or samples. And let me know what you're wearing this particular spring and summer season, and we'll get a conversation started. Also, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.